Welcome to the Betancur Method podcast, where we explore mindset, leadership, and the systems that shape who we're becoming. Today, we're talking all about AI, leadership, entrepreneurship. We have a very special guest with us today, Jabaree Allen. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. We already had a great conversation earlier, man, but we're going to keep it going.
Absolutely.
Now, Jabaree, man, tell us, who are you? Who are you and what do you do?
First of all, I appreciate you for having me. It's an honor. I don't take it lightly when people reach out in an opportunity to, do things like this. And first of all, I am Jabaree Allen. I am a man of God first, a father, businessman, mentor, and the founder of Phusion Ai.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Now you're doing some great stuff, man. You can do some great stuff, and we're gonna hit a couple things today. But first, let's talk a little bit about AI. Now, when it comes to AI, there's been some fears surrounding AI. Now, one of those biggest things I feel like I've heard all the time is that AI is gonna replace people or replace jobs. What do you say about that?
We all probably heard this. It's not AI that's going to replace people. It's people using AI that's going to replace people. At Phusion AI, we actually don't use the word replace. We use the word repurpose. Okay. Because our personal mission is to help people understand how to use artificial intelligence so that they can repurpose where they are.
Mm-hmm. Now, is that with Phusion AI, do you, what do you guys specifically do?
That's a good question. So we've actually had to drill down on that recently because when we started the company off back in November, it was really focused on trying to find our way, right? I've been doing a lot of this stuff since my first company, Business Automation Pros, and we were doing a lot of like automation using software, which is a part of artificial intelligence. Right. But we've kind of had to narrow down. And at Phusion AI, what we like to say is we build custom AI agents, custom GPTs, and then just custom AI tools for small to medium-sized businesses. And we kind of niche down in a few different sectors. We're in healthcare, real estate, the legal industry, and then kind of this service-based business industry as well, because you find that trying to serve everybody, you end up serving nobody. So we've kind of niched down to those four specific industries.
Good. Yeah, no, that sounds incredible. Now, when it comes to AI, are there actual dangers to it? Like, is there some things that you feel like, oh, whoa, maybe we got to hold on a little bit?
Yeah, man, it's just like anything else. A knife in the wrong hands is dangerous. Mm-hmm. A screwdriver can be used as a tool or a weapon, so it's absolutely dangers associated with it. And that's a big part of why we do what we do. I've been doing a lot of workshops, as you know, that's how we met, on educating people of some of the parameters, and especially for businesses, right? I don't know if you've seen it, but there was an article that came out a few months ago about this guy out in California who used a bot that this car dealership was using, and he used the bot and spoke to the bot and had the bot actually write up and get those vehicles for $1. Yeah, man. And so
that's insane.
Yeah, and so a lot of times we don't think about danger in the sense of that's not necessarily dangerous, right? It's nobody harmful to nobody, but a financial danger is a danger, right? If you the owner of that dealership and he were to take enough to shut your business down, you might be, messed up. So, but yeah, there's a lot of dangers that are involved in it. And that's why, being educated is a big part of understanding from different perspectives and different ways to protect businesses. And a lot of my clients love the approach that we take at Phusion AI.
Right. No, I love that, man. I love that. And, I think one of the things personally for me, whenever I really started using AI and like ChatGPT and all these great stuff, I loved it. I feel like I could do everything. And I think one of the things that was really interesting and which I think eventually it kind of became a detriment. And just like you said, like anything could be used for good or evil. Yeah. But one of the things that I think I got caught up in is I was almost thinking less. I was allowing all these different things to just make it so much easier I didn't have to think. Yeah. And what's interesting, I have a lot of great friends that are psychologists, and they mention, and it makes a lot of sense where it's like the human body or just our brains are wired to make things so much easier for us. So if we find something that makes it easy for us to do, like why not do it? But like when it comes to that, like is AI training people to think less? And is that like a detriment?
I don't think AI is training people to think less. I think people are training people. Think about it like this. Why does the car exist? The car, it used to take, it's a fun fact. I learned this from John Hope Bryant, who is one of the guys who I look up to. He's a brilliant mind. He talked about how artificial intelligence was as revolutionary as the creation of the car. It used to take 2 days to get from Pensacola to Jacksonville. Think about it, 2 whole days trip, before the car was invented. Right. But the car was created out of convenience. Why was the drive-through created? People used to walk up to you'll see these old Whataburgers and old Sonics back in the day when they had these different restaurants where people used to walk up to restaurants. Now we have a drive-through, and now even more worse than that, we got Uber Eats, and no knock on them and their business, but it's all about convenience. Think about Amazon. Amazon is the #1 retailer in the world. Why? Because they bring stuff to your front door.
Quick too.
Yeah,
next
man.
day.
Absolutely, yeah.
Next day. That's awesome, man. So again, you mentioned you're a serial entrepreneur. You do a lot of stuff, not just with AI, but with everything. I mean, you got your hands in every pot, man. It seems like, which is great. I think as you should, and I love that you also mentioned before that you're a man of faith. Love
Absolutely.
Ecclesiastes.
Yeah.
He talks about being in 7-8 ventures and doing this and doing that.
Absolutely.
Which is really cool. But as an entrepreneur, what do you think is one of the best things we could do with AI to make it into our advantage?
I think educate yourself. I think that the number one, and that's with anything, but when artificial intelligence, again, I own a software company, Business Automation Pros, was doing well for myself. I still took, I think I'm 13 certifications up right now in the last 2.5 years. In 8 months, I did 12 years worth of coursework getting certifications in artificial intelligence.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, man, I put in some work, man, behind this, but God gave me that vision, and I'm grateful for that. He really laid it out for me, and I pray for discernment a lot.
Right.
That's literally the #1 thing that I can tell you. I literally pray to hear God, but more importantly, during one of those prayers for discernment, God started telling me you need to pray for obedience. You can hear me all you want to hear me, but if you ain't obedient enough to listen, that ain't worth the name.
That's a hard word though, man.
Yeah.
Obedience.
It's tough, man. It take a different level of discipline.
Yeah, it does.
So, but yeah, I think that learning, right, understanding, and then you have to be okay with, like for me, if I want to fix my car, I might fix a tire, I might change the tire out, I might change the windshield wipers, but if I need a new oil pump or gas pump or the check engine light, come on, I'm not getting in there trying to figure out how to. I have to trust a mechanic.
Yeah.
So you have to trust as a business. You have to, again, you can do some surface level stuff, but I wouldn't advise any business to go and try to be, unless you're trying to get into AI as an entrepreneur, I would trust the experts. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, is when I'm doing certain stuff, I'm not trying. I told my lady, I'm like, listen, baby, we might break a sweat going more in the yard every now and then. I might wash the cars, but anything beyond my expertise, beyond the surface, I'm calling somebody. Yeah. And so that's what I really advise businesses to do, is educate yourself enough to know what you need or enough to be able to speak that language, right? Yeah. But then go find an expert.
Yeah. So what about the situation where you have this entrepreneur that's trying to go after their business and trying to do everything, and they have problems outsourcing some of those small kind of things because either one, they might not have the money, or two, they feel like if they don't do it, it's not going to get done right. And I think that's one of the biggest things with me, where it's like, if my hand's in it, I know I'm going to do it right. But if I try to trust somebody else to do it, I don't know, man. I don't know. And I think really the follow-up question is as somebody starting out in their journey, right, in business, entrepreneurship, like what's the best advice you could give somebody when starting?
First of all, if you're starting off now, man, figure out how artificial intelligence is going to affect the industry. Yeah. I laughed and looked at her because
it's still pretty new, right? Like it's been out for a while, but is it still new enough for people to really?
It's new on the commercial side. Okay. To people who aren't in tech, it's new. Actually, IBM created the Watson, which is the first version of real true artificial intelligence back in like the 70s, 60s, 70s. So we talking about a long time ago, bro. It's commercialization of artificial intelligence. It's something that's touching the end users, right? It's just like when airplanes first came out. It was only big airlines had them. Now you might run into somebody with a plane, bro. Like on the regular, you can go in the grocery store and walk by somebody and they be like they're a pilot, So, it's important. But I want to hit your question. Yeah. If you're an entrepreneur starting fresh out, first of all, I would look at how artificial intelligence is affecting the industry that you want to go into, right? Because now it's okay to be a solo entrepreneur. What this technology has done, it has put let's say before the commercialization, 5 years ago, if you would have got me in front of this room, in front of this mic and this camera and said, "Hey man, I want you to do me a podcast about amphibians in the Brazilian rainforest," I would have been in here looking crazy. Yeah. But now I can get on ChatGPT because the access to technology and say, "Hey, look, I'm about to do a podcast on amphibians in the Brazilian rainforest. Give me high level, tell me what I need to talk about." Like, think about that. That is, the access to information is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And so as an entrepreneur, I would say first identify what it is that you're trying to do very clearly. Know exactly what you're trying to do, and then take that and say, okay, I'm good at this. What else? How can I pull in technology or people to help me accomplish those things? Yeah. And then from there, the technology is there. Like my chief administrative officer, my CFO, my COO, like my C-level suite, outside of my lady and 2 or 3 other people, they AI agents, man. Yeah. And so I'm still building a team, right? I still, there's a people behind it, but for the most part, you can take advantage of the technology.
Yeah. As I say, isn't there some things? I forgot exactly what it's called, but isn't there something out there that actually like will do a whole podcast for you? Like nobody even got to be there.
I've seen a few of those things. I'm not the biggest podcaster, right? I should be, because people tell me all the time that I need to start putting out more content and I need to speak and all the things. But I'm not 100% sure. Again, I'm sure there's an AI tool that will make podcasting a lot easier. Yeah. But I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I'm an AI guy, right? Everybody know that. I literally have people stop me and like, "Oh, this the AI guy." But I love people. I love humility. People ask me all the time, "Man, what's the next thing that AI gonna replace?" And I tell them a lot of times, I don't think about what AI is gonna replace. I look at what AI is not gonna replace. That's how I feel where we're gonna go with Phusion Ai. I look at the things that artificial intelligence can't do.
What are some of those things?
Personal relationship.
Okay.
Right now, we speaking on this podcast like me and you doing right now.
Can't really do that with an AI, huh?
Man, come on, bro. We feel each other. The energy is real. You can't do that with a robot, man. You can't. These microphones don't have no feelings. You think they feel some type of way because they in the room with a microphone that look just like them? AI is, and we have a sense of identity. God give us a spirit. Like we have real identity through, and that's something that AI can't match. Personal relationships. I did a speaking engagement for the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. And real estate is a very unique space when it comes to artificial intelligence, right? Because they do a lot of hands-on contract drafting and scheduling and booking showings and viewings and a lot of documentation moving back and forth, a lot of things that AI can do. But most realtors love the relationship building. They love delivering somebody's dream home or their first home to a person. AI can't do that. And so they're in a unique space where they get to do what they actually love to do and they let AI do the rest. Right. The stuff that they actually don't like doing. Nobody don't want to.
Menial stuff.
Making all these follow-up phone calls and, scheduling viewings and showings and all that. So that's what I look for, the things that artificial intelligence actually can't do.
I love that, man. I love that. And so I'm a businessman to an entrepreneur. I've been trying to do a lot of stuff for years. And I think with that same thing, one of the hardest things for me that I've seen is really having good people to work with. Yeah. And it's hard to find some really good people that share your dream. that are as maybe disciplined as you are. And I think that's it's been tough, man, because you might not find a lot of people that got that same type of work ethic and energy and want to do it as bad as you do.
Yeah.
But for you, what do you think is some of the hardest things when you like starting out that you had to deal with as an entrepreneur?
Again, I ain't gonna say I hate to tap into the faith part of this,
Man,
but
I love it. We love it.
the truth of it is the hardest thing that I had to do is learn how to not be so worldly. Like a lot of what we do in life, not just even business, is so caught up in the world.
Yeah.
The glitz and the glamour and, trying to be like the next, but all that, man. The most important thing that I ever did in my business was allow myself to say, you know what, God, I want to submit my business to you. Like, I want to build something for your glory. I don't want to build something so I can be glorified. Because I ain't gonna lie, the first few business, I had success. But again, we talked about that glass ceiling. I reached that glass ceiling because I was doing stuff my way. Now with Phusion AI, which is really a vision that God gave me, literally, and birthed this through me and has been, I lifted this business up to, like, I submit daily to his will for myself and for my business. And that has been, man, by far the best thing I ever done for a business. Like, you talk about having good people. I couldn't find good people when I was trying to. Like, maybe one or two, but waste hundreds of thousands of dollars. I lost some crazy money with Phusion AI because I give this business to God and I pray for the people. That's how I met my partner.
Yeah.
That's how I met, like, it's crazy. And other people, the resources that I need, I told God, like, listen, if this gonna be crazy, I need to make sure I have the right people around me. And he is literally putting the people in my life to help me take this to the next level.
That's amazing. And I love that. And I'm a man of faith too. And for those people who are in their faith and who do worship God and everything, there's a lot of them that have trouble kind of mixing faith and business. Is that something we should do, shouldn't do? Is that something that's just,
You're asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you, man, because obviously that's what you did. I mean, you've been kind of in both worlds, if you will.
Yeah.
But some people have trouble doing that.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you have trouble doing that, then before you even get to business, you got to have a relationship with God, like that.
Like your own personal.
Yeah, you got that. That come before anything. It's like trying to drive a car before you get a license. That don't make sense. You ain't ever heard of run before you walk? I mean, walk before you run. Yeah. Right? Crawl before you walk, however it go, that's the same thing. You got to have a relationship with God for yourself before you can bring in your business, right? So I had developed that personal relationship with God. And then I went on to say, you know what? My will, because I'm touching more than just myself, I'm involved in other things. A lot of times people are afraid to even give, like I've given my family up to God. I've given my children up to, I've given my relationship and all these things. Hey, listen, I want you to lead this. I don't want to be in control. Because I'm telling you, man, being in control of yourself is tough, bro. I talk about that glass ceiling a lot because when I hit that thing, I'm like, you know what? I can't get any further. I don't want to be here. Like this, bro, could you imagine looking up and seeing all these people that aren't better than you, that aren't smarter than you, that can't do what you can do, but you can't get past that level that you are? That's that glass ceiling. Yeah. And so for me, I'm like, you know what? I got to do something different. What is it that I'm not doing different? I done all the things in the world. I done all that, bro. Literally. Yeah. Lifting my business up to God and living my life.
So the way you broke through that glass ceiling was your relationship with God.
Absolutely. By far, that's the biggest contributor. It ain't had nothing to do with none of these partnerships and none of this other stuff, bro. It was literally lifting everything and saying, hey, listen, God, I want to submit to your will. Yeah. I'm telling you, on the altar is where Phusion AI was birthed. Like, that's it.
Heck yeah, man. I love that. So one of the things that I've talked about a lot for a couple of years, and I've mentored and I've coached a lot of different young men and young women, and I talk about a concept that's very biblical, and I like to term it humble confidence, because there's and I think when I got there, I read Genesis 32. Jacob wrestles with God, one of the most powerful passages I think I've ever read. And it hit me very personally because it got to a point where this man was wrestling with God or an angel, basically knocks his hip out of place. And then he tells God something. He says, I will not let you go unless you bless me.
Wow.
That was like, how how could you possibly tell God that? Like, hey, I'm not gonna let you go until you give me what I want. Not understanding his history, um, he wasn't just asking that just for his own personal glory, right? Just like he was saying, and he had to have this depth of humility, but also mixed with this confidence to know that, hey, you know what, like I am and I can do this because of my faith. So how can we balance that? How can we balance the humility and the confidence to be able to achieve our goals?
I think what gives us a sense of humility, and again, I have to talk about my personal walk with God,
Yeah.
is at some point in life, most people, I can't say all people, but I have conversations with people about this type of stuff. Most people get good, they're in this place of content and what my grandma used to call high horse. You get on that high horse, and God has to knock you down, literally knock you down, and that restores a sense of humility and births a sense of humility that you carry on forever. So me, I was on my high horse, floating the road. Man, listen, man, God good checked me so good, man. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. But that was that sense of, and both of them, humbleness and humility. He humbled me. Like, I thought I was the man. I couldn't tell me nothing. Can't nobody tell. That's where I was at with it. And God knocked me off and said, hey, listen, I need to remind you, right? Because when we in that space, we feel like we calling the shots. And he needed to remind me of who he was. And so it was important for me to just, humble down and say, you know what, let me re-look at things. And so I think that healthy balance comes from understanding that, first of all, if you hear this podcast, don't get on your high horse, right? And if you're on your high horse and God ain't knocked you off yet, go ahead and humble yourself before he has to, because it hurt. And usually when that happens, he humbles you in a way that you can't lean on anybody else but him. See, God put me in a position where I ain't had no choice. The people that I call my best friends, the people that I love, me, family, everybody, nobody could hear me. Not that they might have not wanted to, but they couldn't. God intentionally put me in a position where I had to say, you know what? All right, I hear you. So, that's important, bro. Humility is the most important perspective of all of this stuff.
Yeah, man, because it doesn't allow you to learn. When you're prideful, when you think when you think you've arrived, it doesn't allow you to learn so much more than you have. And
Absolutely.
You talked a lot about you've had a lot of worldly success. I mean, you had a lot of these other things. Now, to on a worldly standpoint, spiritual standpoint, whatever, does success change you?
I don't know that I would say necessarily change. Maybe some people, sometimes words are interchangeable, right? What I can say is success grew me. I'm going to tell you, one of the hardest lessons that success taught me was how to say no. I had to learn how to say no. It was killing me saying yeah to everybody. Not in the sense of just finances, right? You're going to have people ask for money, right? But in the sense of overcommitment. That is one of the challenges that I had. I would commit to so much stuff that I didn't have time for myself. And that's something that I'm actually still battling in this season, because I try to take every quarter and I address three things. Like overcommitment is one of them, right? That right now in this season, I'm dealing with making sure that I don't overcommit. And I struggle with it sometimes, because having a good heart, wanting to see people win, wanting to do for people, whether that's family, friends, anybody connected that I'm connected to. And then another thing that I'm addressing in this season is making sure that I keep the promises that I make to myself. Like, think about that. Think about how far you get in life, business, all the things, if you just keep the promises you make to yourself.
Yeah.
Like, so for me, not overcommitting, right?
Yeah.
And keeping the promises I make to myself, and then discipline. See, discipline is a different animal, bro. If you discipline in your personal life and you discipline in the flesh, then you get some spiritual discipline. Oh my!
Got it all,
man,
huh?
Bro, I'm telling you, the success in the world, bro. I'm telling you, I have did a lot of crazy stuff. People tell me, the people that know me, once they hear and dang, bro, you really real life did this. Like, they tell me all the time I need to make a movie. And I'm sure everybody feel like my life is a movie. You hear people say that. I try not to say it myself, because I'm like Lil Baby, which is my favorite rapper, by the way. He talk about letting other people call him the GOAT. He don't call himself that. I let other people tell me, all these great things. I have a friend of mine who he get mad at me on the regular because he says that I don't give myself enough credit. I don't pick up myself. I don't talk about enough about what you've done. Yeah, that's what he say. He like, man, you too humble. Like, you got to tell people that you the man. And I'm like, I let you do that. If you want me to do this so much, you tell people. And he don't have no problem letting it be known. Shout out to my brother Daryl Jones.
Yeah, there you go.
Because he is real fan, man. I remember looking up in the room when I started Phusion Ai, and there was a lot of unfamiliar faces, and then I had a few, but Daryl was there. He made it his business. As busy as he is, he made it his business to be there. Yeah. And for one thing, I'm going to tell everybody that's listening to this, value the people that show up. Value the people that show up for you.
Man.
Like that, bro, it is important. And again, since I met my partner, bro, there's not been a speaking engagement that I have that I ain't look up in the crowd. And it ain't because I'm like, hey, baby, you going to come see, or here's a ticket, or none of that. She making her business. I'm talking about rain, sleet, literally rain.
Everything, man.
Yeah, man, she's showing up, bro. Yeah. And that was, again, we talked about it. Like, it's important, bro. Yeah. It's important to value people that show up for you.
I love that, man. I love that. And, I think one of the things that I was thinking about that as you were speaking was there's a couple things that I had to really change about myself. And on a very deep level, like on a very identity level, like who I was. And there were some things. I think one of my biggest things was like insecurity. Like I know I'm gonna be very successful. Yeah. That was something that's like it never just like. There's no way I cannot be successful, man. Like if I stay on my P's and Q's, man, and if I'm close to God and if I'm doing what I gotta do, bro, I'm gonna be successful. But there's sometimes this like feeling. There's sometimes this feeling where I just get very insecure, like, man, like, am I really though?
Yeah.
And it starts like this little voice starts talking to you, man, and I know something that I've had to really battle with and change and on a very deep level on who I was, and I had to go back a little bit on understand why. But one of the things I've learned in what I've been taught with neurolinguistic program with psychology is understanding who I am now and who I want to be instead of getting so stuck with who I was.
Yeah.
What do you think for you is one of those things where you really gotta want to change to really continue to help you grow?
So. Again, a lot of the stuff you're telling me about, if it's like you kind of know me. I've been telling myself ever since I confirmed with God that I'm a billionaire, and I don't have a choice. I don't get to decide whether I'm gonna do this or not. This is in His will for me. Everybody that know me know that I talk like this. I talk about myself. The Bible even says, "Speak the things." You got to talk. You got to say what it is that you want. Say where you see yourself. When I wake up every day, I see myself as, I have a vision board when I wake up very clearly of where I am going to be in life. The thing is not that I'm not that, I just haven't caught up to that place yet. But I'm already a billionaire. I'm already have all the success that I want. I just got to play catch up and get there. And so, yeah, man, I believe every day you speak those things into existence. I don't never really talk down on myself. Like I'm not going for it. You have to believe in yourself. And again, with Phusion Ai, this is one of those things where I talked about. And before we get off here, I want to announce something. We just signed a partnership with Google. We're about to lead.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, we're about to lead. And again, this is one of those, the favor from God. Yeah. Google found us. God put us in position. I was obedient. And the head of Google K through 12 from the AI division found us and said, listen, we want to partner with Phusion Ai to take AI education, man, K through 12, head on right now. And so we in the weeds of making sure that we get this partnership right. We get the education. We have the pieces in place, and it's super exciting times for us.
I love it, man. So I appreciate you sharing that. There's definitely a lot of value created, and I love that. I love that. And for everybody watching, make sure to reach out. Like, comment, subscribe. If you have any value from this podcast and from Jabaree, man, again, I really appreciate you for coming. Thank you so much for everything you've done and you're doing through AI, and then most importantly through your example, man. You've been, I think, a big example and a big deal with a lot of us here. with your speaking engagement, with what you're doing with AI, and everything else. So I really appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming on, dog.
Absolutely, and I appreciate it, man. And again, I advise everybody to, take this AI thing by the horns. Take it serious, man. It's a lot. We building AI agents that do some crazy stuff, make phone calls, open software, take the information from a phone call, put it in a spreadsheet. Like, this is not something you can hide from, If you don't embrace it, then unfortunately you won't survive, man. That's the truth. And so our goal at Phusion AI is to really educate people. I do a lot of workshops. I do a lot of speaking engagements. Even this, like, I give away so much free game. Take the bull by the horns. Don't run. Just get educated. Take it a step at a time. You don't have to try to swallow all the food at once. Chew it up, and then follow behind us. We're going to lead the way.
There we go, man. Well, I appreciate it. This is the Betancur Method. I'll see y'all next time.
Absolutely.